All right, welcome to Win the Day live stream, where we talk about how real estate agents can win the day, and anyone else for that matter. I think all this stuff translates. And here's one way you can do it. Hold. I'm here. I'm not gone. I'm still here. And hey, did you see that? Weird, right? I was throwing my voice. I was there, but not really. All right. So what I want to talk about is a couple things today. I'm going to start here. This week, I lost 2 listings because of this guy, right? It's so stupid. Normally, I get listings because of this guy. This week, I lost them, right? And I lost them both in weird fashions, at least for me. Or at least I thought it was. But the one yesterday, I lost a listing. I thought it was a rental thing, but it turns out and I followed up with him. And he says, you know what? We're going to sell it. Well, okay, good. Let's talk about selling it. I already chose an agent. Oh, okay, cool. And then we got into it and whatever. And then at the end of it, I was doing first of all, I got angry, right? Because I'm like, oh, you stupid person, whatever. And all that. And then the stupid person became the one in the mirror. But that's the journey you take when you do this right. But then I started thinking about it. Who's this? It's the old, when you argue with somebody, after a while it gets harder and harder. When you argue with an idiot, it gets harder and harder to figure out which one's the idiot, right? And so I did a little bit of reflection, and here's what I came back with on both cases on why I lost the listing. One, I'm out of shape. I'm not in game shape, so I'm missing a few things that normally, or back in the day, I used to get. I missed them. So here's the big one. This thing we do, helping people buy, sell, and own real estate, is about them. It's about their goals, their hopes, their dreams, their expectations of what is going on. It is not about you, or in this case, me, right? However, I made it all about me. Matter of fact, I talked eloquently and extensively about me. And they were kind of on board, right? They might even got some pom-poms. It was really a cool conversation for me. I talked about my achievements, my this and that, and oh my God, I wanted to buy something from me. And then they didn't. It was like, oh, what happened? In both cases, right? In both cases, I did not follow my rules. All right. And 2 basic rules I have is follow the script. Follow the script, follow the script, follow the script. I probably have said that here before. Follow the script. The scripts are designed to elicit responses so you can learn from them, and they at the same time make you look professional to the buyer, owner, or seller. Okay. Neither of these 2 instances did I follow the script. This was straight up improvised bullshit. And I got the result I got. The second rule, which could and should perhaps be the first rule, is 100% of the time, pre-qualify 100% of the people. Okay. And that comes to what I call the marry me questions. If after we talk on whatever day, if you are comfortable and confident that I can sell your house at a price that achieves your goal for selling, will you list it with me on Friday or whatever day? If they say yes, you move forward. If they say no or maybe, well, they got some more work to do. I didn't do that. I just assumed, look how great I am. Of course they're going to. And neither of them did. And here I am talking about it today. So my point of that all is this. If you take the Mike Ferry said this, one of the first things I remember, if you take E out of ego, what's left? Go, right? So take your ego out of this game, people. And I see it. I'm part of it. I do it. I really see it this time of year. It's award season. Oh, look what I did. Look what I did. Look what we did. Look what we did. Look at you know who cares about that? You. Your clients could care less. Could care less. I remember talking to my coach about this. I was in in Gary Keller's top 100 team groups, right? And I started this Win the Day podcast, and I was going to talk about how we're in Gary Keller's top 100, whatever. And I was telling my coach about this, and he says, I love that. I love that. I bet Gary loves that. All this stuff. But do you know how many people even know who Gary Keller is? I know you do, and I know Gary does, and I know I do, but do you know how many people actually know who Gary Keller is? Even realtors? And because I think I was going to call it like Gary Keller's top 100 mastermind, blah, blah, blah crap, right? And it hit me. And then I told my dad, hey, Dad, I'm in Gary Keller's top 100. He's like, okay, good. Do you know who Gary Keller is? No. Okay, good. Right? Right? And so it's not called that. No offense to Gary, God bless you, Gary, right? It's called Win the Day. So again, take the ego and put it in the backseat. And I think you'll stop sabotaging yourself, because it's so easy, especially when you've had a little bit of success, right? To say, oh, look at me, right? It's so easy to do that. But you get these conversations like I'm having right now, and it sucks. But it's also good. It's also good because at least, we're learning from it. And I hope you all learn from my mistakes so you don't have to make your own. All right. So I'm doing that. Okay. So that's my thing. Pre-qualify 100% of the people, 100% of the time, every time, always. But John, it's my mom. Perfect. Make sure, hey, Mom, right? If we get the right price that achieves your goal for selling, you're going to list and sell it with me, right? Well, yeah. Okay. Well, good. I had to ask. You got to ask. Right. Yeah. My mom bought and sold plenty of properties and never once told anybody about me so I get a referral fee. Right. Weird.
I had to do that with my sister who wanted to go look at a property. I said, so if you love this property, if I show it, are you ready? Oh no, I just want to look at it. I said, I'm not showing you.
I mean, yeah, right. Well, at least know going in. Don't have an expectation that isn't there. Yeah. Right. All right. So that's my thing. Okay. I'm gonna start here. Julie, what did you do this week? Anything new, exciting that we should share with the world?
Well, I was just thinking about a client that I was with this week, and she had an interaction with a realtor prior to meeting me, and we ended up writing an offer on her listing, and she met us there, and my client was nervous about it. And so as we were approaching, she went online, and she was riding in the car with me, which I know is unusual, but she was reading the realtor's. She Googled her and reading about her, and she's reading it to me, and I knew who the woman was. And she's like, wow, this woman's an egomaniac, after reading all of her accomplishments. And, to your point, John, as realtors, we look at that and we think about it, and we Google each other. We look each other on the Department of, real estate to see what the level of experience is. But the public, for the most part, all they're caring about is, how are you going to help me, serve me, get me to my goals? I don't care what you've accomplished. I don't care that you have, 85 million in sales. She's like, all she saw that as is the woman had a gigantic ego, and she was patting herself on the back for not hiring her.
Yeah, so here's the thing my guy told me too, my coach. He's like, yeah, you can say you've got 1,500 sales. Awesome. They don't know. Maybe everybody has 1,500 sales.
How does that help them? You got to remember to answer the question, what's in it for me?
I'll never forget Jim Rohn talking about communication. He said, don't use inside lingo for the outside world. And how often, whether it's Christianese or real estateese or stuff like that, the purpose of communication is to speak their language. And you've got to realize that I'm here for them, not they're here for me. And that's a big piece. And taking the time to think through, how do I communicate this in such a way that they go, oh, now I get it. You know
how you do that? Follow the frickin' script.
That, and you ask questions.
Yeah.
You have your opening.
Follow the script.
You have your opening script questions, but because I've seen in training mentoring agents where they're so rigid on following the script, they don't listen to the answers that they're given. So you have to get comfortable with, I've got what I want, my goal of this meeting, my goal of this conversation, and an opening line, and then just relax and be curious. Ask questions. What's their goal? And then you listen and figure out what it is. How can you serve them?
Your script are waypoints back on track.
Yes.
When you ask a question, go 3, 4, 5 questions deep on that, and then you know where to get back on track and go. And when they say, "Yeah, I'm ready to do it," shut up, drop the script, and say, "Let's get this started." I've seen people kill a deal because I got to finish my pitch.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Destiny, first week in a new place for you. How'd it go? What'd you learn? What's new, different, exciting?
I learned I need to, like we said earlier, put a sign on my door so that people know I am not home just because they see my car in the driveway.
You're working from home, not an office.
From home right now, not an office space.
And there's people at home while you're working.
Yes.
That aren't working.
From school, wanting lunch or shoes or something new. So learned that. I've learned to get to know myself again as a realtor. Now I'm a solo agent, and that feels different. It's been an adjustment for me mentally. So just trying to find my space and my rhythm. I've learned to stick with my lead gen no matter what. That has to still happen.
I said you got 20 contacts yesterday, you said.
I did. I got my 20 contacts, and I thought of you. But it's a matter of, managing my time. That's so important now. I don't have somebody checking on me, and I don't have somebody I'm reporting to every day anymore. So it's, almost like I'm my own boss now. And I've got to stick to my schedule and heavy lead gen. Like you, though, yesterday I tried to divvy away from my script a little bit, and it did not work in my favor. So I went right back to it and had some successful phone calls.
Love it. Julie, do you work from home?
I have an office, but I'm a manager, and my office, I manage 900 people. That fluctuates from week to week, plus or minus. So when I'm in the office, most of the time I keep the door closed except for short periods of time, or I work from home, as you can see my mess in the background. And I have an assistant that works in my office. I'm one of these people, especially when I'm making calls, I get distracted when I hear other conversations, and I get distracted thinking what they're thinking about the conversation. So I need to be alone and not have other people. I can't turn off the other conversations. So the way I do that is I literally sit in my office, in my house, with my door to my office closed in my house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's what you do.
Productive. That you got to figure out what helps you be productive, whether it's an accountability partner or saying, I'm going to do 20 calls today, texting someone. And then later on, I liked what Harrison said yesterday. You do your lead gen in the morning, and your appointments in the afternoon. And we've talked about this a million times. But one of the things he added was, and if you don't have appointments in the afternoon, get back to the lead gen. Don't think you're off. I'm done. It's finished. I'm going to go do, laundry or, whatever. So, yes. And John says, I need an office atmosphere. Work from home doesn't work. It doesn't work if you have people interrupting you. And also office atmosphere might help you stay on track. And that's sometimes me. I go back and forth. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the home is too distracting, and I go to the office and close the door.
Yeah. Best situation is the one that you'll work. Mike Ferry said, if you're lucky enough not to have any windows in your office, you're pretty lucky. That's what you need. So.
Well, and I think that, like anything, whether it's at home or at an office, you have to create the rhythm and the routine. Mm-hmm. And that's the issue is once you have a rhythm and routine. I mean, when I wake up, within 3 minutes of getting up, I drink a tall glass of water. It's a rhythm and a routine. I mean, and whatever it is, that's the biggest issue is we don't hold ourselves to that until it feels uncomfortable. If you do it long enough, it's kind of like I put on my left sock before I put on my right sock. The other day I said, I'm going to try to put it on other words, and it just didn't feel right. Mm-hmm. You got to do it so long that you go, wherever you are, you got to run.
Change your directions. Harrison was on here yesterday. If you weren't here, go back and watch it. It was super good. I thought he was really, really special.
He was inspiring.
He exuded a thing that to me said, okay, this guy's got something that a lot of folks don't have.
What was really great about Harrison is he's relatable to anyone. And, you know, he started his real estate business in 2016, and his goal was to get to the point where he was selling an average of one house a day. And he said he's between 1.5 to 2 a day in 9, not even, we just started 2025 years. And he said the first 9 months of his first year, he didn't sell anything. So he's hugely successful, and that's what's super great, because anyone can look at what he
Go
did
back and watch that, people,
and shorten the time frame and succeed like he's succeeding. It was really inspiring.
That was.
Yeah, he had to go and get a job at Nuke's, which is like a McAllister, which is a deli, and he said,
I wonder if I can use him as a reference, because I'm about to do that.
But I mean, to recognize that setbacks aren't the end of the road. They're an opportunity to regroup and say, all right, how do I do this? And he said, I need more knowledge. I need scripts. And to your point that you started with, John, is he got good at scripts, not winging it.
And schedule and the stuff you need to be good. What was your take, Destiny?
Oh, I appreciated so much that he just said, you got to cook for a little bit. You know, even when I first got licensed.
Say more about that. What does that mean? Because if you didn't watch it, you don't get the context.
So basically, you know, new agents, they get in, they think they're going to get their first deal quick and just get rich quick. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's not a fast track. It takes time. But I think the longer you give yourself to marinate and cook and learn and get those scripts mastered and the knowledge that you can, then you'll have a successful year 3. And so it's okay for that 1 and 2 year to not be as successful, make your money, but don't take for granted all the learning and knowledge that you're getting as well.
So many people want to come in and be CEO. Sometimes you got to start as a janitor,
right?
Yeah.
You got to work through the mailroom and up.
Your first year, you're underpaid. And your second year, if you've been disciplined, you'll make good money. Your third year, 3rd to 5, that's where you begin to take off. And most people aren't willing to do that and pay the dues.
Well, in all fairness, some of them can't afford it. It costs a lot of money to live these days. If you don't have any coming in, you better be well capitalized. And I think that's a big part of most people's problems. He came home after work to go to work.
See, there was more to that cooking analogy. I was looking it up because I took notes. And
I know you did. You're really good notes. Maybe you could post those on our show notes.
4 pages, you guys.
Julie's like, yeah, so do I have this right? And she's like transcribing the whole thing. It was great.
I did miss a few things. But he talks about having a sacrificial season. Right. He said it was torture. It's torture
good.
When you're in the sacrificial season. And his story is an amazing turnaround. He said he was addicted, alcoholic, drinking 7 days a week. And he had to die to that self. And he had the sacrificial season. He said, feels like torture when you're in the pot cooking. And he was cooking for a season. He said he couldn't make his $480 mortgage payment after 9 months in real estate. So he had to get a job at a sandwich shop after being a guy who was pulling down 120 G's a year, managing the bar across the street and owning his own bar. So talk about dying to self in a sacrificial season. He put himself into the fire to cook, and then he became refined. And his story is amazing. You guys should watch this from yesterday.
It was good. Really good. Really, really good. And I don't think he has anything. Well, he has a drive and a determination that probably most don't have. But
he has a heart to serve people too.
But he doesn't have some outside influence that propped him up. This comes from inside.
And he comes from a place of abundance where he says, you know what?
He was on with us.
I am going to, I'm okay with having partners. I don't have to be the guy completely. And
well, I don't even know if that's abundance. That's more of smart, right? I'll be I want to find somebody who knows what they're doing, and I'll be partners so I don't have to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Right.
Find somebody who's good at something you're not. I mean, if you're both good at the same thing, why you don't need that.
He's helping to prop up his team members and help them become investors and help them gain wealth. He talked about investing in properties where there was $100,000 worth of equity, and someone came to him and said, you want to buy it? And he said, wait a minute, why wouldn't you buy it? He's like, why are you happy to settle for 3% or 6% when you can get 50%? And then he partnered with the guy, and they he was the one that came up with the cash. They fixed and flipped it, and then they split the profits.
Yeah. It's worth a watch. Go back and watch.
One thing I do want to say to that, because he said he was my top guy and I bet on him. So he was willing to invest in him because of that guy's willingness to show up. And I think a lot of times we miss that opportunity. Opportunity shows up when you have been working hard, and then people say, I want to bless you. If you're just sitting there with a hand out, good luck.
So it's a good arc, starting from lesson 0 to somewhere to now where he's got multiple things going on.
And even like,
go ahead.
Yesterday, I was going to say, he didn't start singing all his accolades, just like we talked about in the beginning. We asked him questions and he answered them, but he wasn't so braggy about all of his success. And I appreciate that. That was very
helpful. He laid it out, how to do it. Julie, give us a wrap up. We're here Friday a week. We got 1 day left. We're going to crush that one day. We're going to crush it, right?
We're going to crush it. And I'm going to quote Harrison. Hard luck and work are strangely correlated.
There you go. Love that. Destiny, wrap us up for the week. What are you telling?
Finish all your Legion, get 20 contacts, go do some open houses, and crush the day.
Boom. Yeah. Mark?
Focus on success through serving others. Find a need and go serve it.
Cool. So a lesson I learned hard this week, it's about them, their goals, their dreams, their expectations. You are a rider on that trip. You're not driving. Okay. Make sure everything you do is about the buyer, the seller, and the owner. Okay. Put yourself in the back and let them be the hero. You do that, you'll be fine. You'll be better than fine. You'll be great. Okay. Do that. Now it's Friday. Friday is a good opportunity to end the week strong. Even if you had the worst week of your life, you can still finish the week strong and win the day, win the week, right? And win the weekend. And the way you do that is create a daily goal. Something you can achieve that isn't so hard. You won't get it done, but it's not so easy. You can just not even try. Okay. I like to use lead follow-up. Follow up on every single lead you have. Every single lead you have. How many? All of them. Every single lead you have. All right. If it's a buyer. So Joe and Mary, John here. Are you still interested in buying the house on ABC Street? What's the next step? Boom. Right. If you're a listing, right, you even in passing, you overheard somebody in the restaurant say they're thinking of selling some whatever it is. You mentioned you're interested in selling your house. Is that still the case? What's the next step? Call every lead, call every lead. That's a good place to do it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get something going and you're going to go home thinking, yeah, that was a good week. All right. And the music's going to sound better. The food's going to taste better. Your spouse is going to be prettier and more handsome or whatever the case may be. And your dog's going to love you more. Right? Your neighbor's still going to suck and bug you because that's what they do. But it's going to be a good weekend. And not only is it going to be a good weekend, you're going to come into next week feeling excited, which is great. All right. There you go. Have a great weekend, and we'll see y'all on Monday.
Bye, guys.